Okay, good morning everybody. Frank here again with another episode of Head for the Hills. This is volume 3. Right now I'm standing in Sargentsville. You can see behind me I got a little construction I got to navigate. Today's hill is Pine Hill Road. Not the Pine Hill Road that I ran up last week. This is a different Pine Hill Road. To get to it, I got to head that way down Rosemont Ringo's Road for about 1.2 miles. So I'm going to do that, and I will see you when I get to the hill. Today's hill is actually a 2-for-1. I'll explain that in a bit. Hi, I'm back. So it was getting a little noisy over there with the construction, but just to reiterate, I started in Sargentsville, right at the corner of Stockton Flemington Road and Rosemont Ringo's Road. There's a nice little municipal lot there. And today we're running up Pine Hill Road, which you can see the sign behind me, not the same Pine Hill Road that I ran up last time. This is a different one. I'm sure there's probably about 8 other Pine Hill Roads in Hunterdon County. I know there's about 50 or 60 river roads. Right, but anyway, I mentioned that this is a bit of a 2-for-1 hill. This is the hill, actually. Here, let's kind of see here. We can see off. That's where it's heading behind me. Hopefully you can get a good shot of that there. And I just ran about 1.2, a little bit less than 1.2 miles from Sargentsville to get here. So the road itself is only about half a mile. So I'm going to start up and pause along the way and give you my my periodic reports as to the road and how I'm feeling. So let's do the next bit. Okay, that wasn't even quite a minute for me. Didn't get very far, but this is a great view behind me. Full disclosure, this hill's a little bit more challenging than Sand Hill or the first Pine Hill. As well as you can see there, going up into the distance behind me, or ahead of me technically. So that's where I've been, and let's go. And here we are at stop number 2. I'm working today, so I think you can still see all the way down to the bottom of the hill there behind me. Didn't get very far. This is just the top of the rise you saw in my last stop. I love these hills where what looks like the top, you get to the top and then you see, oh, there's more hill. So there's more hill. I gotta go. See you soon. Let's go. That was invigorating. Pretty much at the top. Actually here, sorry. That's bend in the road sign there. So just where the road kind of disappears. Sorry, you actually still need to be this way. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Where the road kind of bends there. Right around here. This is the top. You can keep going if you want. I don't want. I'm gonna run back down. I'm just gonna go all the way back down. Then I'll pause and we'll talk some more. See you soon. And I am back at the bottom. Another instantaneous cut for you, but for me, it took a little while. I'd like to tell you, running downhill is much easier than running uphill. And in a way it is. But on a steeper hill, like what we did today, running downhill can be kind of a challenge. Running uphill and downhill, it's really important to focus on your form. You want to try to stay as vertical as possible. Running up, you don't want to slouch forward into the hill. running downhill, you certainly don't want to lean down. Also, you don't want to lean back too much either. It's going to put a lot of stress on your quads potentially. Again, best bet, stay upright, mind your speed, and I guess enjoy the ride. So, we're at the bottom of the hill. I did mention that there's a 2-for-1 deal going on today. I'm not going to talk about number 2 quite yet. I just want to show you a couple things that make this particular route very enjoyable. So I'll stop and see you in just a second. There's the first reason you should do this route. After you've run up and down Pine Hill, just continue down Rosemont Ringos Road just a bit. Just around the bend from where I was, and you'll see what is, I believe, the last public covered bridge in New Jersey, the Green Sergeant's Bridge. And there it is, actually being used. It's all wood and hopefully sturdy. But yeah, it's a really nice spot to come and stop and take in the view. And speaking of views, there's one more. I'm just going to take a little jog down that road behind me there. That is Lower Creek Road. It goes all the way down to Stockton. It ends right near Prallsville Mill. One of the most beautiful roads in the county, I think. So I'm just going to scoot down just a second and see if I can find a particularly nice view to share with you. Okay, I think I overshot my turnaround point. Not because I couldn't find a spot, because there's just so many to choose from. Let me get my ugly mug out of the way here and just kind of see. It's like this all the way down. And down towards the bottom, I think it's even nicer. You get a little bit of cliff on the side of the road, across the street from the river. And yeah, just beautiful. So that's our second reason for coming down here. Well, third if you count the hill. That's why you're coming down here in the first place. Or maybe it's the fourth reason, because there's 2 hills that you're coming down here for. So 2 hills, a covered bridge, and a beautiful rocky stream. Okay, heading back up, and I'll stop again and explain the second hill. Okay, not quite where I was going to be for my stop, but thought you might like to take a look at this. There's a nice shot of the river and the covered bridge spanning it. That should be on a postcard somewhere. I'm sure it is. Okay, I'm going to go just a bit further and stop again and talk. And I'm back, standing at the bottom of Pine Hill once more. Don't have to go that way, but we do have to get back to the parking lot. So as I mentioned, this is a 2-for-1 hill. The real reason I'm out here is for Pine Hill, but we got to go back that way to get back to the car. So on the way out, like I mentioned, it's 1.2 miles. About the first half of that is flat. The second half of that is a nice downhill to where I'm standing right here. And that is, let me consult my notes, 200 feet down over actually about 0.6 of a mile. So that's a nice way to start the run, flat then downhill before you tackle Pine Hill Road. But now we've got to go back. So now we're going up 200 feet. But the nice thing is it ends on a nice, half a mile, 0.6 of a mile flat. So that's where we are. That's the second hill. Haven't said anything about the first hill, Pine Hill. Let's get it back in frame here as I talk. I can't see. There it is, I think. All right. That is half a mile. And that hill goes up 285 feet over half a mile. That's quite a climb. So let's talk about these two in relation to Sand Hill. So Sand Hill is 1.2 miles, and it's an elevation gain of 285 feet, which means if we went up hill number 2 back to the car over that same distance and same climb, we'd actually be hitting about 400 feet. if Pine Hill were 1.2 miles long and continued as it does, that would be an elevation gain of 684 feet. That's steep, but as it is, 285 feet, less than half the distance of Sand Hill Road. So these are both actually really good hills to train on if you want to be able to run up Sand Hill. So I think this is going to be my last comment. This would be a good time to point out that I actually grew up in Illinois, the Prairie State. I've been out here for 13 years. Prairies are flat. There's no elevation. It's very boring. So coming out here and tackling hills like this was quite a surprise. But I somehow continue to do it and enjoy it. Not always. It's tough to run uphill, but it makes me a better runner. And I really believe if you come out here and do some of these hills on a fairly regular basis leading up to the half marathon, you will be in awesome shape and you will tackle Sand Hill like it's nothing. So keep that in mind, stay tuned. You can see details about this place, this hill today, on the race website. Have all that information in the comments. So until next time, have a nice run uphill.